Cancel.
Schweezy.
Podcast hosts say pores use washcloths in the shower, and they've ended friendships over it. This is from Your Tango. I almost had 2 Your Tango articles. I'm like, I have to cut this one. If you are going to do a live broadcast once a week talking about various topics with millions of people turning to listen, you should probably make sure that you are educated on said topic. Listeners will be quick to notice you spewing ignorant comments in subjects you did not research beforehand. 2 podcasters recently came under fire on Twitter after sharing their beliefs, and those who use washcloths in the shower, and it has sparked a debate in cleaning habits and hygiene. The podcaster claimed that only poor people use washcloths in the shower. Tom Segura and Christina Pajitsky have been married since 2008 and are the founders of YMH Studios. Every week, millions of people of all races, religions, numerous genders, varying criminal records, and disgusting fetishes tune in from every continent around the world to share a laugh with Tom, Christina, Bart, Danny, Dr. Drew, Garth, and all of the fascinating, unpredictable, and very funny people who are friends with them, the website reads. One of their most recent conversations had many people raising their eyebrows and calling out the people for being uneducated about the matter. Tom and Christina were discussing showering habits and believed that using a washcloth in the shower was only a method used by poor people. I think the washcloth is a poor person thing, Christina said. I've only met poors who use them, her husband agrees. The two then speculated if using a washcloth in the shower may actually be an exclusively European tradition. I have European friends who use them as well, Christina says, to which Tom replies, maybe they're poor. Tom feels so passionately about the matter that he claims to have ended friendships with those who use washcloths in the shower. I don't want that stink on me, like that poor stink, he says. Christina suggested that people use washcloths to avoid touching their hands to their genitals. The controversial discussion has fired up many internet users who point out that the couple's statement were classist and inaccurate. How is it that every 8 weeks or so, white people get together and admit that they don't wash their bodies and make us witnesses? Twitter user @medium-sized-meat shared, posting the short clip in question. Other users debated whether or not using a washcloth was hygienic. I would wash my body without a filthy, bacteria-covered rag. One user who is against washcloths shared, not using a washcloth doesn't mean you don't wash your body, another user pointed out. Otherwise, we're in favor of using washcloths. If washcloths are dirty, why do hospitals use them on patients? Last I checked, they prefer things to be as sterile as possible, one user pointed out. Just say y'all don't like washing y'all's ass, they censored ass, and then leave the rest of us out of it. I bought a scrub brush and washcloth before surgery because I knew I would have trouble reaching my feet, and it was a game changer, another user revealed. Experts say that using a washcloth in the shower is beneficial, but you should always use a new one every shower. Used washcloths are a breeding ground for bacteria due to the dampness and the moisture. It is also safe and effective not to use washcloths at all, using just body wash instead. To summarize, do whatever you want in the shower and don't let people shame you for it. Who knew that 2 comedians could be criticizing the non-wealthy and wind up starting a war on washcloth culture? So, yeah, if you don't know Your Mom's House, YMH, Tom, Christina Pajitsky, my favorite podcast of all time, my favorite just fucking show of all time. Like, I get excited every week. Like, a highlight of my week is their show. And I hope a highlight of your week is my show. That's all I really care about. And so, yeah, I remember, I watch the show every week, every Wednesday. I end up watching the show. Like, even if I don't know the guest, I prefer when they don't do a guest, because I think that when they don't have a guest, it's just Tom and Christina debating nonsense topics, which I just fucking love nonsense. And so when they have a person there who's not like a regular, like it's not as funny, it's like an interview, it's like, it's okay, but like, show the TikToks, show the fucking dark TikToks. So, yeah, this debate came up, and so my nonsense, I'm like, do I know anyone who uses a washcloth? I'm like, my first thought wasn't poor people use washcloths. Like, that was never, like, a poor people thing, because, like, I'm not rich, but I'm not poor either. I'm, like, middle. I grew up middle class, for the most part, like, old middle class, if we want to talk about that. I either use soap straight on my body or I use washcloth hands in. Sometimes I get a loofah. You know, the loofah's nice too. I'd use a loofah before I use I've never used a washcloth. And, you know, it's a weird thing because, you know, like sometimes you grew up white and some people grew up black. And like you grew up around black people, you grew up around white people. That's the thing. So thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I've never had a washcloth in, but like a lot of black friends are like, where's your washcloth? How do you clean yourself, you know? And like, I love the fact in this article, they're like, oh, some of y'all just a minute, you don't wash your bodies. I'm like, yeah, we don't wash our bodies with a washcloth. I'm like, now, like, yeah, and that's always been my problem because it's like, you have to use a new one each time. I'm like, you're gonna use one a couple times. Like, okay, I'm just like, we're talking about poor people using washcloths, you know? Do you think poor people are changing the washcloth? No, they're not. They're not changing that shit. They're using it for worst case. They're using it for a week and then they're gonna wash it and then maybe wash. They're gonna make that last as long as they can before it kind of gets gross, like and shit like that. You know, I'm a big fan of the loofah. You know, a loofah's really nice, but between a washcloth and just use my hands, I'm like, I'm just gonna use my fucking hands. If it's a bar of soap, then you know it's like it's already there. You're not gonna eat. Unless you can't hold on to the bar of soap and you're in prison, like, I don't think you need to be using a washcloth, you know, to clean yourself. Like, use your hands, use a loofah, or use the bar of soap. You don't need a washcloth. The washcloth, I mean, yeah, like I said, hygienically, like, you have to use a new one each time. The poors are not doing that. And and I identify with the poors, but that's a level I won't go. Washcloth to clean myself. I'm not gonna go that far. But yeah, no, I've always heard of like more black people than like that's a black people thing. But I would rather go with the poors and not black people because I know a lot of black people who are smart enough to not use a washcloth, and that's what I want to see in society. The washcloth is useless, and I think we should decide that we are better than that. Let's go away with the washcloth forever. Thank you for watching this clip. Watch it again or watch something